Hello YouTube. My name is Kenzie and this is my first video for my Animal Crossing channel here on YouTube. I wanted to start by introducing myself and my island today. So first, hi. Let's go ahead and take a look at my map and I'll show you what we're currently working with. My house is in the center on this little floating island. I do have a house for my husband on here, but he doesn't really play. I just decorate it for him. For my villagers, most of them are purple because that's my favorite color. So we have Static, Mary, Deirdre, Diana, Bo, Muffy, Eggly, Cleo, Kid, and Sydney. Then for my buildings, we've got resident services, of course, Nick's Cranny, Able Sisters, the museum, campsite, and my airport. Next, I'm going to run around my island and just kind of show you guys around, just so that we can document what we're currently working with and the progress of the island. I love these little wooden suspended bridges. I use them often throughout my island. Here we've got Muffy just being super cute. And our resident services. This was my dog park, which is behind the Able Sisters up on this cliff here. My undecorated beaches. We all have those, of course. And then I currently have Nook's Cranny up here on this cliff. And then I have a river going through the cliff, and then if you cross the bridge you can get to Able Sisters. So they're kind of together near the entrance to my island by my airport, so whenever I have people come visit for trading or anything like that, it's easily accessible. And I'm currently using the festival decorations that coordinate with the colors of the buildings. Adds a nice color to the exterior, and I just kind of felt like I had to use them, so I was using them there. Here we've got the airport and my little hangouts area. And Deirdre, she is one of my favorites, so we'll just stop and chat with her for a quick second. Over here on the beach, we've got Mary's house. I put Mary on the beach because her door was giving me beach vibes. So she's got some shell furniture and mermaid furniture, and Diana's also on the beach with her. But Diana is purpley, so her yard is very purple. Here we've got Mary and Eggly having an interesting little chat, so we're gonna talk to them for a second. Her face is so cute. That was interesting. And here we've got Sydney. She is a normal koala and she's a cute little color of purple. So here we try to take a picture with her, but the little shell arch is in the way, so might have to do some rearranging later to get better picture opportunities here. Up on the cliffs, we've got Sydney and Deirdre and Bo's houses. Their houses looked kind of like cabins, as you can see, and I wanted them to kind of have like this cabin in the woods kind of vibe. So they are up on the cliff together. And then across the bridge here, we have where I've been keeping the rest of my festival items. It's because I did not have room in my storage. So they are here on the beach. And then around here we've got Cleo's house, and Cleo has a purple hyacinth farm. And she also keeps bees and makes candles and essential oils and fun things like that. So here she's got all of her different candles and oil diffusers. And this is one of my favorite little new areas that I've done on this section of my island. I also just recently decorated the cliff where Muffy lives, and I tried to record it, but I hadn't quite mastered the settings on my capture card, so the video quality wasn't very good. So I'm sorry that I don't have that for everybody, but we are going to be doing a speed build later in the video. That the video quality did turn out quite a bit better. So Muffy is a sisterly villager, and she also has a lot of sewing equipment in her house. So I decided that she is going to be the villager on the island that is going to help you if you need something hemmed or altered, because the Able sisters are just way too busy. So she has this fun sewing machine, and you've got the little pillow and the fabric behind there, sewing kits. And of course she has to do her laundry outside because this is a deserted island. We don't have washing machines here. So pretty little view of Cleo's field. We're also going to be decorating this little open section of cliff and just kind of making it feel mountainy and foresty. And then this is Static's house, and this is what we're going to be doing in our speed build later in the video. So if you'd like to see how I decorate his yard area, please stick around. And then over here, I want it to be kind of hidden, but this would be the way to get to my rock garden. My rock garden is one of my favorite areas on my island because you can hit all of the rocks really easily because I've positioned the rocks and the items around the rocks in such a way that there's something for you to bounce against. So you don't have to dig any holes prior to hitting the rocks, and you can actually hit all of the rocks, and there's enough space for all of the items to spawn. So you don't have to hit one rock, pick up all of the stone and clay and iron and gold, and then move on to the next rock. You can just hit everything all at once and then pick everything up all at once. And that just feels more efficient to me. It does take up quite a bit more space, but I still feel like it's worth the additional space. And then with the way I've positioned some of the bush lamps and the bushes, it kind of makes it feel a little bit more like a circle. So it's kind of like a giant fairy circle for me. Just kind of looks nice. And then here, if you hop across our little river, you can go up to our campsite in the mountains. We've got an area to sit by the fire, a hammock to relax on. We do have a couple of kids' tents here. That way, if you have a few guests at your campsite, you can accommodate all of them. Got some medicine on the log table because sometimes when you're camping you can get stung by bees, and you've just got to be prepared. This is my tree storage area. This is kind of where I've been dropping all of my trees whenever they need to get moved for a build. So nothing real special. I did forget to show you my sunken waterfall in the background though, so I apologize for that. Maybe we will show that in a future video. And then if we hop across the cliff here, this is my bamboo farm zen area. Oh, I'm just checking to make sure that my tiny tree is here because I thought I remembered putting one there, but I didn't see it a second ago. So this is my little zen area. We've got lots of bamboo items and bamboo trees. And then up the path here, we can see Kit's house. Kit's house was kind of reminding me of a zen garden, so he's here for now, but we plan to amiibo in Toby now that I've gotten Kit's photo, so that'll be happening here relatively soon. Back here is our little story area. This is where I would imagine the grandmas would read stories to their grandkids. And over here is my castle. We use some wedding pipe organs and some lighthouses and simple panels and street lamps to create the illusion that the museum is actually a castle. And I did this because I just didn't really like the way the museum looked. It didn't really spark joy for me, but I like it better like this for now. But we might be doing some changes here. I kind of like the idea of a sunken museum surrounded by cliffs and trees, so that is something that may be in the works later. We've got my one of every flower garden. It does have every single flower in the game except for Lily of the Valley. Here is our teddy bear picnic, and this is where all of my money trees have been spawning. So back at the dog park again. Little picnic area. More of my undecorated beach and a balloon waving hello in the back. Little hidden Mickey there. And now that we have made a full loop around the outside of the island, we're going to work our way through the inside. So here is my outdoor library. And our little Cinderella carriage leaving the castle because it is after midnight. And just a little bit more of my entrance, little chill hangout area. And that is most of the island. So that's that. And now we can go ahead and get into the speed build. So we'll go ahead and speed things up here and work our way over to Static's house. And he's just gonna chill staring at that waterfall while we do all the hard work. So as a reminder, this is the area that we're gonna be working with today. And through the magic of video editing, I'm going to hop out of that pipe with my pockets full of everything that we are gonna need today. Well, at least for the first section. I liked the idea of using the jail bars as a way to kind of partition the villager area off from the rock garden, because I wanted the rock garden to feel a little bit more hidden or secluded. So I liked having something to separate them. You're going to see me playing around a lot with items at first in different areas. The clotheslines do end up staying there, but I'm going to play around with this tub quite a bit and that fireplace before I decide where I want them to go. I really like that tub outside of Static's house because he does have a yellow door, and I wanted something that would kind of tie in the yellows. Kind of like you can see with the hay bed. The pumpkins are mostly orange, but they do have a bit of yellow, so I try to use them. I ended up giving Static a pumpkin farm. I felt that was appropriate given that Cleo has a hyacinth farm. I end up struggling with this artisanal bug cage for a minute or so. Luckily, it's not too painful to watch since it is sped up here. And through the magic of video editing, we are back with full pockets again. And here is my farm area that I neglected to show you earlier. We are probably going to be redoing this build later on my channel, but for now we're just going to be stealing some pumpkins for Static's pumpkin farm. I got a majority of my yellow pumpkins because I felt they coordinated really well with his yellow door. And here we're just crafting another shovel because mine broke for the second time in this video. And over here is my little bakery, which we will probably also redo later on my channel. And now we're just going to open the Island Designer app and start laying down some dark dirt for our little tiny pumpkin patch. I end up deciding to go back and make the patch of dark dirt a bit larger and actually connecting the two paths. I don't end up putting any pumpkins in the section where there's currently not any dark dirt. I decided to place some weeds here because I figured maybe Static didn't plan the location of his pumpkin patch super well before he planted his pumpkins, and maybe some of his pumpkins didn't grow very well because they got stepped on, because this is the most efficient way to get from his house to Muffy's house, is to walk through the pumpkins. So not everything here on Frontier is always very well planned, but at least it looks cute most of the time. We end up getting some purple flowers here to fill in the pumpkin patch. I thought maybe Muffy felt bad for trampling Static's pumpkins every time she went over to go visit him, and so she planted some flowers where his pumpkins didn't grow very well as a way to make amends because they're buddies, they're neighbors. And then we plant one flower over here just to make the area feel a little more balanced. And now we start to fill in the empty space with weeds so that it can feel like pumpkins that just didn't grow very well. I end up stealing this purple pansy from over here to add to the flowers that are in the pumpkin patch. See my drifty Joy-Con giving me some grief there for a minute. And then I plant some weeds around that one tulip just so that we don't have any more tulips sprout up. And fidgeting with the radio and the cassette player again. I also really like the way the yellow mush lamps look with the yellow door on Static's house. I start by picking up the trees that are currently planted so that I can replant them more strategically. I want this to feel like a forest, lots of trees with a little walkway that you can get through, but still pretty heavily covered in trees, like the area hasn't been fully developed. Is kind of the vibe that we're going for here. We go back to the previously mentioned tree storage to steal some trees. It is a little bit more work to decorate with trees that are already planted because you do have to eat some fruit and then dig them up and then replant them. But it's nice to be able to visualize what the full tree will look like as you're decorating the area, instead of planting the saplings and then hoping that you're satisfied with the end result once the sapling grows into a tree. And here I am just getting frustrated with the limitations of how close we can plant trees together, but we end up making it work out in the end. And I know for a lot of you on here this is not any new information, but if you would like to have stunted trees, all you need to do is plant a sapling and wait for it to grow to the stage that you like. And then once it is as big as you would like it to be, if you just plant a piece of fruit in one of the 8 tiles around it, you will be able to stunt it from growing any larger. It does have to be a piece of fruit like a cherry, apple, orange, peach, or pear. You cannot plant a coconut behind it and get it to stun. It would have to be one of the other fruits. We're going to start to lay some pathing. That way it will kind of lead you to go visit Static's home. Sometimes when I lay down the path, I like to use the Island Designer app and try to start with, for example, this bottom corner, and imagine all of the places where this bottom corner would need to be in order to follow the flow of the path. And then I switch pieces throughout. Sometimes I'm able to execute this better than others and it saves me a little bit of time. And sometimes I end up redoing areas pretty often. And then after I have the perimeter of the path all laid out, I go in and I place the center. And I am pretty pleased with how this path laid out. I like how it goes from wider areas to skinnier areas, and how it's not perfect, it's just kind of random, and how it weaves through the trees a bit. Now we are going to go in and place some bushes and some flowers. That way this space can really come alive and feel very vibrant and like a little bit of a forest, very natural. I do also use some mush lamps. That way we are kind of tying in the mushroom theme between the mush parasols and the mush log that is in the back by the rocking chair, little reading area hidden in the woods. I've also got a mush stool just to tie things in just a little bit better. And the final walkthrough, testing to see how difficult it is to navigate, and also testing how it looks down here from Cleo's little hyacinth farm. Making sure there aren't any eyesores or areas that are feeling like they're too bare. Going to be placing some pathing, some wooden planks that lead you to Static's house. And then just a little bit of pathing that will lead you back to the rock garden. But I didn't want it to be like a perfect path where there aren't any gaps. I wanted lots of gaps. That way it can feel weathered and old and unkempt and like a deserted island. Alright, now that I am happy with the final result, we'll do one last walkthrough. This did take me about 2.5 hours to decorate, but it was definitely a lot of fun, and I'm really happy that I'm able to share this all with the rest of the amazing Animal Crossing community. If you enjoyed this content and you would like to see more videos and more progress of our island here on Frontier, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.